And then I don't know what demon possessed this bitch, but all of a sudden, from behind her back, she pulls out a belt and starts whipping. Hi everyone, my name is Kaylie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay everybody, happy Monday. I know, it's bad. I just wanted to put a PSA out here. If you guys have any story times, please send them in. I haven't been able to find like a longer story time for you guys. So the next few story times are gonna be a little bit short until some lovely people decide to send in their long story times. But I also got a new camera. Let me know if you guys like it. I'm not sure how this is about to go. I should probably film on my other one too, just in case. You know what, we're just gonna say F it. But other than that, I'm gonna bring you guys up close. There we go. Without further ado, I'm going to do my quick usual little rundown for most of the video. I will be looking in this direction because my mirror's over here and I would like to see what I'm doing. I do tell these story times in a first person point of view, so if you don't like that, then you can leave.
There's the door. There's the door, bitch!
And these story times are sent in by anonymous people. Okay, that was a lot. I have damaged my skin barrier yet again, but that's okay. Okay, so story time about my psycho grandma. So a little background information, I was 15 years old and in 10th grade. And during this time, I did not have a good relationship with my mom at all. So instead of, you know, trying to work it out, you know, and instead of her trying to be an adult, she sent me away to go live with my grandma in a small town in Texas. Now, obviously, I didn't know anybody there because all of my friends lived on the complete opposite side of Texas. So anyways, yeah, like I said, I go to live with my grandma and she is dating this really nice guy named Cortez. And honestly, he was like a really good guy. Super sweet, would always bring us home food, was always taking me to school. And honestly, we spent like a lot of family time together. Like we would watch movies together, just me, him, and my grandma. We were like one happy little family. Until I'm pretty sure my grandma started getting jealous of mine and Cortez's relationship. Yeah. She started telling me what I could and couldn't wear around him, and she started making a big deal about the fact that he would drive me to and from school. Like, she told me that I wasn't allowed to wear leggings anymore. No crop tops, no tight shirts. Like, honestly, at this point, I should have just dropped out of high school and became a fucking nun. Because she was, like, telling me that I just shouldn't show my legs and arms. It's disrespectful to myself and just shows that I don't care about myself. Like, girl, be so fucking for real. Get with the times, grandma. It's not that big of a fucking deal. Anyways, yeah, so it was super fucking bizarre because, like, I'm 15 years old. So that went on for a little bit and then things started getting worse. Whenever he would come home from work, she didn't want me around him, so she would tell me to stay in my room. Yeah, literally stay in my room all fucking day until he went to work the next day again. So, you know, I would go into my room and then all of a sudden she calls me out into the living room. I'm guessing because Cortez is like, oh, why doesn't she spend any time with us anymore, you know? Because all of a sudden I'm just staying in my room 24/7. So yeah, she would call me out from my room and then she would be all pissed off about that. It was like I couldn't do anything right. Well then, instead of taking it out on just me, she would also take it out on Cortez. Like they would argue 24/7, and when they would argue, she would hit him and scream at him. She literally acted like a fucking child. It was embarrassing. And when I asked her about this, she just said that they were going through a rough patch. Well, during this quote rough patch, she kicked him out of the house for like a week. And then once he came back, my grandma was like, I have to talk to you later. And I'm just like super weirded out. I was hoping that she was telling me that I could go home with my mom again because I was tired of this bullshit. But no, why would it be that? Of course, it would not be that. Anyway, so Cortez is outside fixing her car. And then my grandma pulls me into the living room and she's like talking to me. And then she brings up how Cortez was previously in jail because he had SA'd a younger girl.
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
So obviously at this point, I'm like low-key concerned because I'm like, okay, I'm living in the same house as a pedo, like what the F? So then I'm also thinking to myself, okay, well maybe my grandma's actually known about this whole time because originally I had thought the reason why she kicked him out was because maybe she had like just found out about it or something. And no, but then I was like, there's no way. She's had to have known about this the whole time because why else would she tell me what I could and couldn't wear around him and stuff like that? So now I was even more like upset / afraid because why would my grandma let this man back into the house again?
Why? 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 Why?
Like, girly, something's not adding up, but be so for real. And you know, I guess that she got what she wanted because at this point I started isolating myself in my room. I did not want to be near him. I didn't want to be near her because why would you let him back into the fucking house after that? So yeah, I started staying in my room 24/7. I wasn't eating because that meant that I would have to go into the kitchen and be near them. I wouldn't watch movies with them anymore. And Cortez noticed that I was like being weird. So he began to ask my grandma what was wrong with me, and then she would argue with him, like, why are you worried about her, da 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 da, she's a teenager, let her do what she wants, da da da. Like, all right, girlie. And as the tension between my grandma and I worsened, I decided to start spending a lot of time at my boyfriend Chris's house. Now, Chris did live back in my old town with my parents, like where they lived, but he would come and drive to see me on the weekends. Remember, ladies, if he wanted to, he would. And we would always be out doing something, like going and getting food somewhere or going to the movies just to avoid being at my grandma's house. And as I started spending less time at my grandma's house, my grandma started to get really upset with me. But the thing is like, why are you upset, girlie? You wanted your man all to yourself. Take him, have him. I don't want him. And eventually, as you could imagine, I grew tired of her telling me how I should and shouldn't dress and how I should and shouldn't act, da da da. So then I went off the one night. I came in the house, she started her bullshit with me, and then I just straight up told her, I was like, listen, I don't want to live under the same fucking roof as him anymore. And then she just kept arguing me. She wasn't understanding where I was coming from, so I said, F it. I left. Well, I packed a bag, and then I left, and then I went and I stayed at Chris's house. I turned off my phone, and yeah, that was the end of that. Like, I was not about to deal with that bullshit until she reacted by calling the police, who picked me up and brought me back home. Whenever I got home, she was super upset, you know. She took my phone away. She told me to go to my room. So I go into my room and I'm like, well, you know what? I don't got anything better to do, so let me just finish up this school project that I have to work on. So I'm working on this school project, sitting on the floor in my room, when all of a sudden my grandma burst through the door, screaming at me, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you fucking crazy? Blah, blah, blah. And then I don't know what demon possessed this bitch.
Got them demons fighting.
You gonna keep fighting them demons.
But all of a sudden, from behind her back, she pulls out a belt and starts whipping me with it.
Jesus Christ.
With the side with the fucking belt buckle.
God damn.
Literally, the belt buckle. Bruises were like showing up immediately. Like, it was honestly like the worst thing ever of my life. So, you know, fast forward, I wake up the next morning swollen and bruised. I literally felt like I was just jumped by 3 bitches. Well, no, honestly, I don't even think that that would be as bad as I felt because I was in excruciating pain. Anyway, so fast forward, I went to school that day and I wore jeans and a long sleeve shirt. But then of course, during track, I had to put on my uniform. So I put my shorts on and I put my shirt on. My coach noticed how bad my bruises were, so he literally sent me to the nurse, and then when I got to the nurse, she called the principals, and they asked me what happened, and I said, fuck it, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I told them that my grandma beat me. Given the extent of, like, my bruises, like, how bad they were, they assumed that I had been being beaten daily, which wasn't the case. I literally just got the shit beat out of me with a fucking belt buckle. And to make it even better, the bruises looked awful because I was so pale. Anyway, so, you know, fast forward, the school, they asked me, who are your parents, da-da-da, because they had to inform them of what the hell happened to me. So, you know, fast forward, they call my parents. When my parents found out about this, they were furious, as they should be. Anyway, so like I said, my parents were absolutely furious about the fact that my grandma was beating me. And my grandma had a surgery scheduled for like a week after all this happened. But my parents didn't give a flying fuck. We all went home and they were like interrogating her, fucking yelling at her, being like, what the hell possessed you to do this? Like, what is wrong with you, pretty much? And what's Gram's response? Her response was, oh, well, she ran away.
Get him the fuck out of here.
But she didn't explain the reasons why I had ran away. And I decided to keep it a secret. I didn't tell my mom how I was feeling. I didn't tell her why this whole thing happened. I even decided to not tell her about the whole Cortez thing. I was low-key afraid that if I did tell my mom, she would press charges on them. And in all honesty, I just did not want any drama. I was tired of the drama at this point. A week later, while my grandma was in the hospital, she was still angry with me, which I don't know why, because I saved her ass. Like, girlie, let's not be dumb, okay? She thinks that I went running to my school counselors on purpose and all that bullshit. No, bitch, you beat me with a fucking belt buckle. Anyway, so she said that I did all this for attention, blah, 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 blah. And like, it was actually really upsetting me because I'm like, no, I did not do this for attention. You're literally just an effed up person. And that's whenever I just started crying because she was making me feel awful. Like I was going through all this. I didn't have anybody to really talk to except for my boyfriend. Like I couldn't catch a break. So while I was crying, I finally decided to tell my parents everything. I'm like, listen, this is what's been going on. And my parents waited until my grandma recovered from surgery to have a family meeting. Like we literally all gathered around, even Cortez. We sat down, we talked about the shit. And the first thing that my mom brought up, she was like, was Cortez in jail for assaulting a younger girl? My grandma tries denying everything. Cortez looked confused as fuck.
Damn. He don't got a clue in the fucking world.
He wasn't understanding what the hell was going on. He's just like looking at us like, yeah, buddy, your girlfriend said that you SA'd a younger girl. Time to kick that bitch to the curb. Okay, okay. So then my grandma continued to deny like saying anything like that at all.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
So I'm like, bro, yes you did. You literally told me that Cortez was in jail for assaulting a younger girl. Which is why I avoided coming home and I ran away to my boyfriend's house. So then eventually my grandma admitted that she lied. Good. And she even admitted to being jealous of Cortez and I. Like the attention that he showed me.
BFF, be fucking for real.
After this, my mom cut ties with my grandma. Thank God. And then I had moved back in with my parents. And Cortez broke up with my grandma as he should have.
Later, man, you better stay there.
Because what my grandma did was absolutely disgusting. And yeah, I haven't spoke to my grandmother in about 4 years. Okay, everybody, that is the end of today's story time. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button down below. And if you want to know whenever I post my next video, make sure to click that bell. And if you want to send in your anonymous story time or you want to know how to send in your anonymous story time, make sure to click the links down below in the description. But other than that, I will see you guys next week with a new story time.